With the announcement from EA that there won't be any Star Wars games shown off at EA Play, a certain Star Wars channel is feeling very insecure about the future of his channel, and decided to pretend like this was the downfall of Star Wars games and completely overreacted to the announcement, because his channel solely relies on Star Wars games to survive. So without any new games coming out from EA Star Wars this year, he's going to have to resort to his usual clickbait dragged out bullshit. And I know that might sound great, but put it this way, even with the easy dragged out crap he usually puts out, it has more than likely become extremely draining for him to try and milk any drop of Star Wars news. And today we'll be looking at his video crying about how EA won't be announcing a Star Wars game at the EA Play event, which would be slightly worrying if they didn't practically confirm that we'll be seeing more Star Wars games from them next year. And the guy blatantly takes EA's words out of context, so without further delay, I'll let the video play.
So, EA have gone and confirmed our worst fears. Once again, Star Wars fans in terms of gaming just cannot catch a damn break.
Yes, because the announcement of Star Wars games are no longer being locked behind EA was totally a horrible announcement earlier this year. The fact we finally got Disney to allow other developers to make Star Wars games is a great thing, and acting like we've not caught a break this year as Star Wars fans is complete bullshit. We basically got confirmation of more Star Wars games coming next year from EA as well, but because his channel won't be able to financially benefit from it as well, as it would have if they announced games this year, he decided to cry about it because God forbid EA doesn't rush a game for once.
Now this is going to be a different video to normal. There's not really going to be any structure behind it. It's just going to be me saying stuff. So no beating around it. I'm just going to dive straight into it today. Give you guys my thoughts, probably a little bit of a rant, and talk about the channel's future.
At least he isn't trying to hide his intentions completely. However, he does later on start acting like this is bad news for Star Wars fans and not just his bank account.
So EA went and communicated today about Star Wars games at EA Play Live, and they came out and said this: "We won't be showing any new Star Wars games at EA Play Live on July 22nd, but all of us look forward to celebrating with you next year when we share our vision for the galaxy far, far away."
So this was tweeted out at like, I don't know, 1:30 AM my time, so I was asleep when it happened, and I woke up, opened my Twitter, and my Twitter had basically just blown up, tags and ats all over the place, and then I saw why. I thought this was actually a joke when I read it, but lo and behold, it's actually true. It's not a joke, somehow.
Why would it be a joke exactly? EA should be taking all the time they need to make their next Star Wars games the best they can possibly be, unlike what they've done in the past. We just got Star Wars Squadrons, a decent game for what it's trying to accomplish, and you expect them to release another game a year later. I know it would be extremely beneficial to you if EA Star Wars became an annual franchise, but for the majority of us it would be pretty shitty. I'd preferably not have Star Wars turn into games like COD and FIFA, but instead finally come as full-fledged products instead of microtransactions filled half-baked garbage.
So no Star Wars at EA Play Live this year, which means another year of probably nothing. I don't even, know where to begin here, to be honest. Now, look, I've always said that as mistreated as Star Wars has been in the past from EA, I've always wanted them to have some form of attachment to Star Wars because of games like Battlefront from DICE and Fallen Order from Respawn.
And there has been times where EA have actually done really well. So I always thought that the exclusive rights opening up, but EA still making Star Wars games was a great idea, like best of both worlds. But today, for EA, this is just a massive, massive L. There is no other way around it.
EA letting fans know that more Star Wars is coming next year is a massive L for them. Totally not just a massive L for your bank account. Like, would you prefer EA continue to put out half-baked garbage like they've historically done? There is literally only one way this could be seen as bad, and that's for your bank account. And it's pretty clear that's why you're so pressed about EA actually taking their time to make a video game for once, because it becomes one of your main points about your channel's future later on in the video.
And I think surely even them, they know it. The fact that sports franchises like FIFA and Madden can get crapped out every 12 months, but Star Wars games can't have anything at all despite EA's CEO saying that they were doubling down on Star Wars games, just makes no sense to me.
What? What the fuck? Have you seen the state of Madden each year? It progressively gets worse. It's a literal shit show. I never thought I'd hear someone unironically claim they want EA to pump out Star Wars games as fast and in as low quality as they do with Madden and FIFA. FIFA is full of pay-to-win microtransactions as well. It's incredible to me that anyone would want EA to do to Star Wars what they've done to FIFA and Madden.
Now look, I understand if, they said there will be no full-blown reveals at EA Play Live. Like trailers, gameplay, stuff like that. Because ultimately games do take a long time to develop. I know this, and most people do. So I think we'd fully understand that, but they're not even going to be showing anything. No plans for anything in future. No logo drops. Nothing.
You already know for a fact that if they just showed Jedi Fallen Order 2's logo, then this guy would lose his mind and freak out the high heaven over it, making 20 10-minute long videos and milking that shit. But for the most part, nobody would like that. It would be a terrible idea for EA to only show a logo for a game in development. People are fed up with CGI trailers already, and they sure as hell wouldn't appreciate EA of all companies only showing a logo. And let's be honest, no one needs Fallen Order 2 to be shown off at their event. Everyone already knows it's in development, and it's also highly unlikely for Battlefront 3 to not be in development as well.
Not even what we got for Fallen Order a few years ago, which was a dude sitting in a chair saying, yep, new Star Wars game's coming, and that was about it. We're not even going to be getting that. So the bare minimum, it's not happening.
That is literally the equivalent of what they did on Twitter. They announced that more EA Star Wars games will be announced next year on their Twitter, my guy. Wasting people's time who are watching the event to go, there will be more Star Wars games next year would be terrible for them. So instead of wasting your time, my time and everyone's time, they decided to announce it before the event and on Twitter. This is literally only a good thing. EA shouldn't show off anything until they are ready to do so. And the franchise definitely shouldn't follow in FIFA or Madden's footsteps for fuck's sake.
Now look, I think when it comes to Star Wars under EA, I've always been really fair, not biased, I am an EA game changer, and EA have always been really nice to me, and everyone from EA that I've spoken to have been really, really, really nice people. And as a game changer, that's what I want to help them do, change the games for the better. So I've always been fair, but I've never been a yes man, and I've never been a hater.
But today is just a huge, huge letdown, and an almost inexcusable one.
Yeah, fuck EA for confirming more Star Wars announcements next year, and fuck them for not rushing games out the door like they do with FIFA and Madden. God, it's such a shame they're going to wait until they have something to show instead of wasting everyone's time.
The reason being, it's not the fans that have hyped this up. EA have been doing it themselves, so the fans naturally followed. You had EA's CEO saying that they were doubling down on Star Wars. You had them tweet out in January that they love Star Wars and are committed to making more games. Then they spend a month hyping up Jedi Fallen Order with tweets leading to EA Play Live saying stuff like, now is a great time to get back into Fallen Order, wink wink. Then a week before the event starts, they say, nah, no Star Wars at EA Play Live lads, see you next year.
Only one of those tweets can be seen as them hyping up EA Play, and that's the last one. EA saying they're doubling down on Star Wars in June 2020 has literally nothing to do with EA Play 2021. And them talking about how they love Star Wars in January was to make sure people knew that they still had the rights to make more Star Wars games, since people were worried that they had lost them, because guess what happened in January of this year? The Ubisoft announcement. You aren't being fair in this situation, you are taking them out of context to fuel outrage over the fact you will be financially hurt by them not putting out a Star Wars game announcement at this year's EA Play event.
Now, I did tweet about this, but I do appreciate the communication from EA here. One thing EA has severely lacked with Star Wars pretty much for the entirety of the Star Wars license is communication. They do not communicate. And that may be their fault. It could be Lucasfilm and Disney, because at the end of the day, no matter how big EA are, they have to bend the knee to Lucasfilm and Disney. So the lack of communication could have multiple parties to throw the blame at. The problem here is they waited a week before EA Play Live to say that there's going to be nothing, after spending a month hyping up Fallen Order, after tweeting out this and that, and again, EA CEO saying that they were going to be doubling down.
I decided to scroll through EA Star Wars Twitter quickly, and the only tweet they made which even remotely mentioned EA Play was the one he showed earlier. The rest didn't mention EA Play at all, like literally at all. It is not EA's fault that you were desperate for content, so you played dot to dot with false connections. That is on you and nobody else. It's not like it's unusual for EA Star Wars Twitter account to talk about Jedi Fallen Order, and then suddenly last month they started tweeting about the game. It's in fact incredibly common for them to tweet about Fallen Order. Like incredibly common.
So EA have kind of made their bed, but we the fans have to sleep in it. This isn't the fans' fault through hyping up nothing. EA, they're the ones that done the hyping, and they just haven't done the delivering.
Evidently untrue. They made one tweet about Jedi Fallen Order in relation to EA Play, and the rest was business as usual.
I mean, you just got to take a scroll through the comments on the tweet EA made about this. I mean, look at these. The writing is on the wall. You can see what people think.
Yeah, because Star Wars channels like yourself constantly make videos out of nothingness and hype up these events. But then if you get it wrong, you use EA as a scapegoat, like you are right now.
And I'm telling you what, I'm sure there's probably people at EA that are just as frustrated as we are. Like, I know a lot of these guys, they're fans too, and they probably think it sucks as well, because it just does.
You serious?
I'm sure the developers are heartbroken over not having to crunch and rush the game out of the door for a single trailer, when the games are clearly not going to be ready until next year, as shown by their announcement.
Like, the worst case scenario was this.
You think the worst case scenario was the announcement of more Star Wars stuff related to EA being announced next year? It's incredible how pathetic that is. People have been complaining for years that EA rushes their Star Wars games out of the door, and as soon as they start to not do that, these people find a way to complain, even though they acknowledge the fact this is the most communication we've seen from EA in a long time.
But silver lining time. If there is a positive to take from this, then it is what EA said in the last sentence of the tweet. All of us look forward to celebrating with you next year when we share our vision for the galaxy far, far away. So EA Play Live 2022. It's gonna be a big one, and it has to be.
So they're confirming Star Wars will be there next year, which is better than a kick up the arse, which, you know, we'll take it, because getting kicked up the arse has been a pretty common occurrence for us lately.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I thought this was the worst case scenario for us Star Wars fans according to you.
And it's probably going to be the biggest event for Star Wars games we have ever seen.
Once again, this doesn't sound like the quote-unquote worst case scenario. And once again, here's the overhyping YouTubers like you constantly do.
The only problem is we have to wait another year for it to happen. Like, we just spent like a year and a half, 2 years waiting for something, because let's be real, Squadrons didn't fill a void. Squadrons kind of felt like it never happened.
What, you gonna cry? No? No, go ahead, cry. Let me see you. Let me see you cry.
Squadrons is a good game, and just because it wasn't exactly what you wanted, that doesn't mean it didn't fill the void for everyone. Also, boo-hoo, you have to wait another year to see Star Wars announcements. That is not at all an issue for anything but your bank account.
Now, that leads me on to my next point of the video, which is a channel update / information segment for what this bad news means for the channel. As for those of you who do watch these videos regularly, you will know I did say a couple of weeks ago that if EA Play Live was a bust for Star Wars games, then I'd be reassessing the channel, because the last year or so has just not been enjoyable as a content creator for Star Wars games, because nothing has been happening. Like, full transparency with you guys, it's been miserable and I have not enjoyed it. I've just done it because at times it's cathartic for me to make videos, and of course I am full time, so it does pay my bills. And there has occasionally been stuff worth covering, like today.
Yeah, if you were somehow in doubt that he's mainly mad about this because of his financials, then he essentially outright admitted it to you right there. Now the rest of his video is him saying how he won't cover small things, which I'll believe it when I see it, because that's literally what his channel is dedicated to for the most part. So with all that being said, please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to bet you do, aka check out my Discord, Twitter, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So that I'll see you all in the next video.